Okay, we are live. Good morning, everyone. Greetings from the Digital Innovation Pavilion at the UN Climate Conference COP29 in Baku, Azerbaijan. My name is Miroslav Polzer, and I'm the founder and CEO of IAI GloCha. GloCha stands for Global Challenges, and it's the Global Challenges Action Empowerment Partnership and Action Network. And today we have at this Digital Innovation Pavilion our GloCha and Youth Empowerment Day, and I'm delighted to kick off today's series of events with this presentation of GloCha Systemic Solutions for All of Society, Climate Action Empowerment. And we have some wonderful people here, friends, concerned and active global citizens, creatives, scientists, advisors, communications experts, and social entrepreneurs. We are going to have a first presentation of my solution, and then a conversation about systemic approaches to all of society engagement, citizens empowerment, so that really everyone, everywhere around the world can take action for the climate in a way that makes sense in the global framework, and which is then also rewarding for those people who take action. So my organization, IAI, is the carrier organization, the social architects of this partnership, GloCha, and we are accredited to the UN through ECOSOC, that's the Economic and Social Council in New York, then through the Department for Global Communication, UNFCCC, this United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, the process through which this conference is being organized here every year, and also we are with the Green Climate Fund. And so we are building a bridge between the UN and the people on the streets, at the grassroots, because these abstract texts and goals that we get here agreed upon need to be translated in a language where then people understand it, feel positively related to it, and support action. And we have the pillars, culture, technology, and organizational innovation, on which we are building an ecosystem of solutions and a partnership. And here, perhaps just as we have our friends from Arts Help here, to show you also that with the right partnerships, we can then bring these topics into the living rooms of the people. For instance, with Digital Art for Climate, we had our winner on CNN in the Philippines, and Arts Help also helped us bringing the winning artwork on the billboards in Shibuya, one of the big public spaces in Tokyo, Japan. And we've been also in Matare, in the informal settlement, in the slum, where young people have been activated with these our processes. And we are also each year at the UN headquarters with an exhibit, just as a start. And we are creating spaces, because if we are building a community of those who want to take action, we need them to create spaces where these people come together in real life, like here at the Digital Innovation Pavilion, but also in virtual worlds. And we have in real life also a festival. It is more a vision. We had planned it already, but then for several practical reasons, we didn't implement it. But we have a youth camp booked for more than 100 people, and a cultural center. And yeah, we are bringing people together also in virtual worlds. On the one hand, with edutainment programs, we are working on GloCha streaming TV, edutainment and creative economy ecosystem, super app, and but now in terms of what is as regards knowledge and systemic innovation of global climate action governance, our focus and our unique contribution is global challenges mapping. It's a way and a tool to get a better understanding of the challenges that people are facing on the ground and how they are spatially identified. Where are they located? And with this challenges mapping, we give people a tool and a conceptual framework for identification, localization, and specification of challenges with citizen science and Web3 technology tools. And we have developed a first pilot of this tool in the context of Interreg Central Europe program, Just Energy Transition for Central Europe. And this is now being developed further. Here you see a screenshot of the tool and also the link to the app. So the plan is that this system gets developed further and that we have at the end an individual SDGs and climate action app in which SDGs and climate action are framed as an NFT and digital badges collection game and educational tool. And people can document and get verified and certified created actions and impact and learning outcomes registered in a global registry and turned into digital assets that can be collected and traded. And so it's also a big social entrepreneurship ecosystem potential here. A unique asset that we have also is also our cooperation with OneMap. It's an initiative of the United Nations Geospatial Network, and they're putting together a framework with all the geospatial data of the UN agencies. And it has hundreds of data layers, and we have been invited to add a citizen science data layer about these challenges, and that will help the UN system to deliver better results as regards global goals. And the focus is also on resource mobilization. Together with OneMap and other partners, we've had a workshop in New York at the Schmidt Foundation. And recently we had also an event last Saturday with OneMap and NVIDIA. So we think that the concepts that we have are really getting ready for large-scale investment. And on the 3rd of December, we will have a workshop at the UN headquarters in New York about, it's on the Giving Tuesday. We will work there on a Global Challenges Action Day resolution and also on engagement of high net worth individual in our work. And one element that we have presented also here at the Digital Innovation Pavilion is that if we have the right tools to collect data on the community level, if we combine with geospatial data and with AI infrastructure, that this can be the basis for super high quality credits, carbon credits, biodiversity credits, blue economy credits, and based on this convergence of IoT, Internet of Things, Earth observation, AI, Web3, and community level data. And so the vision is that our GloCha system will be then also the framework for creation and certification and trading of impact that people on the ground are creating. So that's a very important element of GloCha is culture, and also for spreading these solutions that we have, or for somehow promoting the use of the SDGs Climate Action App, and is music and art. And as has been said before, Digital Art for Climate is one of our flagship initiatives, and we have are working on a GloCha contest in the context of the Global Challenges Action Day, which will be announced on the 4th of February at the UN ECOSOC Partnership Forum. One element is also that in addition to the space that we are creating here with the Digital Innovation Pavilion, we have there at the UN headquarters in New York already for 3 years, the week before the UN General Assembly high-level week, we have our conference with UNEP and with UN Habitat. This year we've been again in the Trusteeship Council chamber, a very prestigious place, and we had a 10 days exhibit at the UN. So we are creating there also a space for our partnership to come together and to help the UN to deliver better on these global goals. Yeah, we are working now with several missions, permanent missions of member states in New York on a Global Challenges Action Day. The idea is that there will be a special day during the year on which people will go to the challenges maps platform and then identify the challenges they want to work on, create challenges communities, and then specify what they are going to contribute to addressing this challenge. And during the year, they will report what they are doing. And on the next year, we synthesize then all these small activities and contributions and hand over a synthesis report to the President of the General Assembly. And this is somehow a paradigm shift, because the UN system is all about national governments taking action and non-state actors only consulting. And here in the UNFCCC process, the term is observing. But we need a stronger role for non-state actors, and we believe that with the challenges mapping tools and the other elements of the solutions ecosystem, and with this Global Challenges Action Day, that we can have really a massive mobilization. And we are also, we have approached already the Olympic movement, especially the LA 2028 Summer Olympics organizers, that they would work with us on their sustainability legacy by using our tools to have an LA 2028 Good Life app. Good life in the sense of healthy lifestyles, sports and diets and everything, healthy communities and healthy planet. And that really this tool will help in the context of the Olympic movement, but also broader people to take the right actions. And we plan, our goal is to have by the end of the Summer Olympics 2028, 100 million users of this app. And with Domenico, we are also somehow trying to connect with the Milan Cortina Winter Olympics in 2026. Yeah, and we will have our conference 4th of February, where we will present these partnerships, also resource partners. We believe that this app ecosystem is something where social impact investors could also come in. We have each year also a side event to the UN Science, Technology and Innovation Forum. We will be at the Bonn Climate Conference. And this is also an important component that in the UNFCCC system, we have the nationally determined contributions. Countries are telling what they are doing. But for a system, global system where everyone would be engaged and rewarded, we need better information of who is doing what, where, how. And this localization component is missing currently. And we believe that with this partnership with OneMap and with NVIDIA, they have an Earth 2, a digital twin of the Earth with all the meteorological data and other elements that are helpful for baseline definition and impact tracking, that we can help the UNFCCC process. And we will have a workshop in Bonn in June next year on localization of climate action and how this can help the NDCs reporting, because these NDCs are also the basis then for market mechanisms. And therefore we need to help have better data on this. Here an overview of some of the partners. We are an open partnership, although many of our partnerships are not really formalized yet. It's more in the framework of friendships. The formal onboarding is still something that will have to be done. We have Kenza with us. We are at these conferences together, and we are trying to align our activities. Alex is our friend and partner since 2012, since the Rio +20 Global Youth Music Contest. Tim Damon is a very sharp systemic thinker and youth leader with a focus on resource mobilization for young people. Young people have so much potential, and we have to unlock this potential by providing resources. Jackson is here today with Arts Help. Arts Help, one of the biggest media platforms in the world, helping to reach people and engaging creatives. Domenico, a scientist, a big fan of music also and art. And happy to have also Elena with us. Elena will also speak with us on the panel later, but you will be also invited to contribute to this discussion. And with this, I'm saying GloCha yours. Is a photo of our representative in Burkina Faso. And yeah, it's for the people. We have to work for them. And with this, I'm going a little bit through our panel here to say, to ask for your perspectives on systemic solutions of society, climate action, empowerment. Where do you see the needs? Do you see on the journey that you've been with us, what do you think worked or what should be done differently? And ideas for the future. Kenza. You can also pitch for your session later.
Well, thank you, Miro, for the invitation and also all the great work we are doing. This is a great example of the systematic change that we can have actually to implement a real and concrete change for climate. I've been so glad meeting Miro in the COP process and SB. So we've been partnering many events and also press conferences and a lot of things. And I think that we are combining two important things, which is art and digital innovation solutions that are the drives actually to create the systematic change. So with art, we can create connections, as we can see here, different profiles, different nationalities, different backgrounds as well. But it's really connecting us, and also with the digital solutions, it creates concrete and make the change easy. It's this tool that we need to can feel our direct impact. So I think here in COP, it can be sometimes very frustrating, as it's a lot of talks, a lot of negotiations happening, and we can sometimes also feel that there is that eco-anxiety, that sometimes you say, okay, so there is an emergency happening right now, and what can I do as an individual actually to create a direct change? So with these kind of initiatives, we can basically reduce that eco-anxiety, because we can feel that I can do something and I contribute in a direct way, and I can see the results of my contribution, which is super important as well. So thank you for this initiative, and we are happy and glad to continue collaborating with you. And also, you are all invited to our session that will be happening at 3 p.m. here about radical innovation for climate action. We will also have a lot of researchers, innovators, investors. We will be talking about also digital investments and also business to create concrete action for systematic change. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kenza. We are delighted to have you with us. Alex, you are really on the journey with us for the longest time here. Please tell us your thoughts.
Thanks very much, Miro. I think before I make several very clear points and suggestions, I want to see that for all the great initiatives, great organizations, the foundation should be that they help great people. And Miro definitely is a great people, and also everybody's gathered together many other great friends to work together, like Kaisa, like many others. You know, the happiest, most beautiful and smartest persons and most dedicated young leaders from different places to join. So I think this is a good foundation. So I believe that GloCha will do a lot of great projects, and I can see that because one was I think when I just graduated, was still young. I started to work with Miro when Miro don't have much white hair than I had. You know that in the past almost I think more than 10 years, more than a decade. So we have go through many different projects. So I can see that how great the organization grows and different initiative, different projects, and how dedicated Miro is. So 2006 Nobel Peace Laureate Professor Yunus, who is a chief advisor for Bangladesh, came a few days ago, and he said a very good story. He said that sometimes we want to reach our destination. Please remember, there's sometimes there's not highway here. So it's not all the destination we have highway. Sometimes we have to pass the jungles, not create the roads, and then the history will remember you. I think Miro is somehow is a kind of this dedicated leader who create the roads, and the history will remember him. And I'm sure he didn't pay me to see that, but this is my feeling for working with him for more than a decade. And I hope that all the new friends and old friends can continue to support GloCha and can continue to work with Miro and create some great things together. Make GloCha great. Right? Not great again, but from good to great. Okay, and so and I will be very brief for some points I think which we can bring systematic change. Number one, the technology. I think you already work. You already been a pioneer to advocate for this kind of technology, which can improve the efficiency, including the blockchain, including AI, including all these kind of different innovative ideas. And Miro has been pioneer to be the first person to teach me what is blockchain, what is like AI, all these kind of things. And he talked with me about Bitcoin before it really went up. So if I listen to him, I won't sit here anymore. So, but he's all this kind of we're entrepreneurial, we're different technology. So we should always look at all this new technology. The second is that the model of social business, which is initiated by Professor Yunus, and the most famous model is that Grameen Bank, which will jointly win the Nobel Peace Prize. I think that the current, if we want to really solve some social problem, we need to create some business model, and we can keep it going on. We cannot rely on the donation, or we rely on the government grant, because when the people change, maybe the grant is gone. So if we can create some really good social business model, we can keep it running. We can keep it, working on this. I think we can, systematically change. So once you get the social business model, definitely if you search online, there's a lot of information. There are 7 principles of social business, so when they come out, the profit stay in the company, and then the profit to make the business bigger. The bigger the business is, the more problem you can solve, the more people you help. I think number 2 is that the social business model. Number 3 is that I think at GloCha already worked a lot, but we need to work with young people systematically. How can we build for example, how can we build GloCha chapter, GloCha hub? I think this is some idea we talked. Just one example. Also, Professor was launched, and a few days ago, Pope Francis also joined to launch it. It's called 30 Club. Zero Club is that is from the vision of professionals that the world should be three zeros. Three zeros. Number one, the first zero is not zero poverty. Number two is that zero unemployment through unleashing entrepreneurship. Number three is that zero carbon emission. So professionals have a book called The War of Three Zeros, which is the best-seller book since 2017. So he like 1 year ago he launched. Why not young people launch the 3-0 club, which is 5 people. It's like Grammy model, like 5 people you can form a group, and then you should commit one action that contribute to 3-0. So once you launch this kind of initiative and you create this kind of platform for young people, and we can do self-organize and develop the masters of social media. So is that it will be that to do it and then enjoy it, they share on social media, more young people will join. Can we guess how many 3-0 clubs founded in the past more than just 1 year? Can we guess? Give a number.
1,000.
Oh, lower. I mean higher. Okay. 300. 300. No, I mean 1,000 is lower. No. Right. We get 4,500 from more than 100 countries in 1 year, and you can see that. So I believe that in the future, if we have the GloCha hubs, we provide this kind of online platform. The young people can self-create, and then they can earn some GloCha to own GloCha, this kind of NFTs. And the champion will bring next year to Brazil to the COP13, and then he will speak here and talk about the more action. So this kind of things can be online, and this kind a platform can be created for young people, and we have some system, this kind of technology for them, and then they can do self-organize, and then you can sleep on the beach and wait for the positive result come out. Yes, okay. This is my 3 points. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alex. Yeah, and this is also great examples of this social business and 3-0 clubs. Is that there is a lot going on around the world, but global community does not know what is being done. And we will hear perhaps also from Elena, EU Climate Pact ambassadors. They're very passionate and committed people working around the world, but we don't know who is doing what. And therefore, I believe we need to set up this global information system with including digital identities and other components that these networks can plug and play into this global ecosystem without really taking on our GloCha branding. Also, if they want, of course, everybody welcome, but that the 3-0 clubs can operate in this global platform, and also using this Global Challenges Action Day resolution of the UN to really have a global motivation, but that then others like we here in Baku, or when I sit at home, that I can look in and see, okay, this is the action map from all around the world in relation to SDGs and other global goals that is taking place, and then I can also decide if I want to invest my money to support this kind of activities. And this brings me then to Tim, because Tim is also thinking for years now in this direction and trying to change the system to the better.
Thank you, Miro. It's always a pleasure to convene our family, our community here of all of us trying to make change. And it was actually since 2016 that we've been working together, and that coincided perfectly with when I was shifting from my youth advocacy toward the Paris Agreement in those years to working on Action for Climate Empowerment, ACE, of which I'm sure many of us are very familiar already. And I like to look at this from the global and systemic perspective, and we know that from working on ACE, we have several tools so far from that level. There's the Glasgow Work Program on Action for Climate Empowerment that was adopted in COP26, and that's guiding us through to 2030. And then one of the most exciting innovations of that process was that we also from COP27 had adopted a 4-year action plan for ACE. And as we're thinking about resources, these are coming in under the priority area of tools and support. And of course, that's not only related to finance, but also institutional and technical support. And one of the things that I really see as a gap that we still have for ACE is we don't have enough in the way of the institutional support. Within this process, there's not a constituted body for ACE. If you try to see what's going on globally, yes, you do have UN agencies that are working on it. There's the great work being done by UNESCO, by UNITAR, UNCC-Learn, the list goes on. There's a lot of stakeholders that are doing a lot, but we don't necessarily see as much of the integration and the coherence of those activities. And this idea of policy coherence is also another of the priority areas from the ACE agenda that we have right now, along with coordinated action. And so we've seen that, we've put the ideas in place, but we still need more of the implementation of these. And it is very often coming back as well to finance. And we know, of course, we can't achieve the full extent of the finance that we need through only the public sources. And of course, we're all talking in many of the rooms here at COP about the climate finance. But there's a need for some more innovative solutions in terms of how we can unlock some of the private and other sources of finance. And this is where we've been talking for a number of years now. The working title for this concept is the ACE Marketplace. And this would, as a marketplace implies, help to link the supply side and the demand side of climate action, particularly looking at ACE. And so if you would have more of an emphasis put on having the philanthropies, the corporate social responsibility, the other kinds of private sources that are out there, being able to know what are the needs, where could they potentially invest in a project, and especially making this more accessible for a lot of the youth. And we'll talk about this more in our session at noon that we have here as well. We'll be looking at gaps and challenges for youth climate empowerment. So we'll get more into some of that with the youth focus at that point. But we'll say here that a lot of the youth and youth NGOs, they're not accessing the Green Climate Fund or the Adaptation Fund necessarily. So when we're looking at a lot of these big financial mechanisms, those aren't able to serve a lot of the youth initiatives. And so we need to figure out as well how to enable them to have access to those kinds of funds. And along with this ACE Marketplace concept, we would have an incubator kind of component would integrate very seamlessly into that, because not all young people have an NGO yet, or it's very difficult to create one in their country, or they might not know how to write a strong proposal and a strong budget that's going to be able to qualify to get some of these kinds of funding, or to go from idea to action. And so as well, having a dedicated team of experts who are supporting that marketplace, who would be able to provide those kinds of assistance to young people would be a very necessary step to also help to unlock more of their action. And in this systemic space, I will also touch upon the importance of having from each country an ACE national focal point. This is one of the recommendations that's been around for more than 10 years in the process, and we are now at the point where more than 70% of the countries have someone in that role, but we do still see that there's a lot of inconsistency in terms of who's in that role, how well do they understand what they're supposed to be doing, how much support or scope do they have from within their government, where are they placed within their government, right? If they're in the environment ministry, then that might hinder them to try to work at the national level compared to if they were in the education ministry. And there's still so much then that should be done to coordinate what countries are doing through having an ACE national strategy, for example. And we've seen some countries take good steps in that direction. but those are mostly along the lines of like a climate change learning strategy, not directly an ACE strategy. We need to remember that ACE is not only about education, but there's also the awareness raising and especially the public participation. It's about all members of society being able to engage. And so you need a cohesive, integrated approach for how are you going to do that? And this then links, of course, into green jobs. You know, you have it, if you have an education ministry and a separate jobs ministry and then a separate environment ministry, how are they talking to each other? You know, so having a focal point for ACE, having an ACE national strategy is also going to be how you will, you know, cut across those and coordinate so that, you know, even we mentioned NDCs. You know, if your NDC has renewable energy deployment targets, are you training in the K-12 curriculum and in the tertiary curriculum the young people who will be able to take on those jobs to actually implement it? So, and then of course, if you're going to finance these things, it also helps to have this level of coherence. So these are some of the systemic reflections on innovations that we need within the system. And we do see, I will just highlight to round out on a happy note, because I know we have a lot of frustration with some of the agenda items here at the COP mitigation work program. I'm looking at you, but we actually had a very good decision for ACE in terms of giving us more opportunity in the upcoming summary reports and with a special event at COP 30 to be able to work on having more of the conversations, gathering more of the evidence base that we need. And I'll give a positive shout out to one of our colleagues. There's Roberta Yana, who was very much part of those negotiations and helping us to be able to move things forward from this COP. So yes, let's keep going.
Bravo, yeah. Thanks for these thoughts and suggestions. And as you said, young people are here, they have ideas, they have knowledge, expertise, and we need to provide them with the resources so that those who really can create an impact, that they can do so, and that they can do so on scale, and that they are not volunteering their lives away, that it's really, they have a professional future in these fields. And here I'm now also particularly happy to have our friends from UNIDO, Global Clean Tech Innovation Program with us. You are also working on ways to support clean tech entrepreneurs. And would you like to share some views on how you think your work and our work can connect somehow?
I'm sorry, I just want to, like, for the background, there was initially my name there, but I think we have our global program manager with us. So I really think we should give the floor to her to talk about the work we're doing and the work that we do to support innovative solutions.
Thank you very much. I think Daria can also contribute a lot, so I will hand over the microphone to her later on. But thank you very much for organizing this event. I think it's very relevant in the current times. We live in a world that is very complex and the challenges are systemic. So we cannot really consider climate change separately from biodiversity or pollution or even armed conflict and disruption of value chains. So I think what is needed is an understanding of the system as a whole, and also the stakeholders that participate in this system and their roles. And I very much agree with you that there is a need for new ways of working with each other between several stakeholders. And as such, we are in need of societal innovation in addition to the technology innovation. And you need to recognize that. It's also reflected in the Global Clean Tech Innovation Program. So this program supports startups and SMEs that have innovative ideas to contribute to climate change mitigation. And we support them from very early stage. So even some students that have an idea to fight climate change, and that idea can be turned into a business value proposition. or just early stage teams or research groups, and we invite them to apply to the program of their idea. We also offer more advanced support in form of the advanced acceleration and post-acceleration, and we also have global challenges in collaboration with several industrial companies and utilities that define specific problems in their organizations, and then together with us launch a call for submission of applications to solve these challenges. And also referring to the point that was raised before, that NGOs and just individuals cannot really access the climate funds. I recognize that, and I see it's really a problem because you need to be an accredited entity to be able to apply to Green Climate Fund or Global Environment Facility. But UNIDO is such an accredited entity, so an idea would be for these groups of individuals or NGOs to contact UNIDO with, for example, in the framework of the Global Fintech Innovation Program, to apply and to be accelerated and turned the idea into a business proposition that someone could invest in. And there are also many other acceleration programs out there. UNIDO focuses on middle-income countries and low-income countries. We're currently present in 15 countries. We can share more information maybe through a presentation, PowerPoint presentation later on. But there is much more support out there how to address the global climate funds through other organizations that can provide some support. And also on the integration of ideas of different ministries that was also mentioned. So, for example, UNIDO provides support to low and middle income countries in their review of nationally determined contributions, the NDC 3.0. So we try to ensure that the trade-offs between different areas such as industry, climate, energy are taken into account, and we help the countries to develop the NDCs in such a way that they reflect an overall perspective and not interests of respective ministries that are often contradictory as well. And I think my colleague Daria could also talk a bit about our engagement with Siemens and a project that we are currently developing on youth. So could you say a few words?
Thank you, Olga, and yeah, thank you for bringing actually this idea up, because the idea is in very early stages at the moment, but we started thinking that in many countries where we're present and where we work and we want to support startups working with clean tech, we very often find the challenge that there are not enough of young innovators there working on these areas. Particularly women working in green tech, working in sectors of energy, energy efficiency, renewable energy. And this is the challenge that our program is unfortunately not able to solve, because there's just not enough women working in these areas. There are not enough women studying those areas. There is low interest, there is low awareness, and we see that there is lack of this education that is focused on STEM, focused on energy transition, focused on climate action, that in many countries, this is just not the focus when it comes to school education. And we see that the school education is where you have to focus to build the pool of innovators that then can proceed to become young professionals in those careers, pursue careers in entrepreneurship and innovation, and then eventually become those applicants to our program that we run and where we support those startups. So how do we solve this challenge? How do we actually address it, and how do we build something that can help us address a prior stage of that? So Siemens Stiftung and ourselves, we started our collaboration last year within the event that we call Clean Tech Days. We developed a 2-day training for our startups that we supported, and we're coming for this forum in Vienna. And we started discussing how can we actually work together, because Siemens Stiftung focuses a lot on innovation, focuses a lot on youth education, and they have expertise in developing curricula focused on technology focused curricula for school students. And this is where we started discussing, okay, how do we let us work on a program together to design such a program for countries in Africa. We now have our idea is to pilot it in 5 countries, around 5 countries in total. One of them, for example, being like Kenya or Nigeria, where we really focus on the development of the curricula, on the training of teachers, on the development of educational materials, on the work that being done locally with local authorities, with ministries of education to develop policies that support STEM-focused, energy-focused education for school children, and like age, let's say, from around 15, 13 to 15 years old, and organize even some sort of youth innovation challenges for a bit later students that could potentially be for them this kind of kickoff platform to get ideas, to get in contact with experts, with mentors, to get some better understanding what does it mean to have a career in just energy transition and climate action. So we are on the lookout for partners. We are on the lookout for people who would be interested in working with us. The program is in very early stages, let's say, of conceptualizing, but we would be very happy to get in touch with you if you're interested in being the contributing partner in supporting us with outreach, with development of curricula. So yeah, happy to discuss this further. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Olga and Darian. It's really great what you're doing, and I think you are one of the big innovators in UNIDO also, because you have this multi-stakeholder approach and systemic with education and capacity building. That's really what's needed, and congratulations. And perhaps just coming back to this information that we are envisioning super high quality carbon, biodiversity, blue economy credits based on the convergence of IoT, Earth observation, AI, Web3, and community level data collection. So we could think of this innovation platform in support of this clean tech innovator programs that you have, that we put together a project for the global environment facility or for some of the foundations, because it's really a systemic need, and your unit is perfectly suited for such a partnership. And now we have thoughts about global governance innovation, business innovation, but as also Olga has said, we need social innovation. We need to get the masses engaged. We need everyone engaged. And for this, it's not enough to have most sophisticated intellectual concepts. We need to touch the hearts and the minds. And here, I'm happy to have Jackson from Arts Hub to talk with us a little bit about creative community engagement, this kind of efforts.
Thank you, Miroslav. Thank you for having me. Miroslav, as you mentioned, my name is Jackson Turner. We had a partnership with Arts Hub. We're actually the world's largest digital art publisher. We reach over 100 million unique profiles every month. And we were founded upon the principle of using art as a vehicle to drive social change. And I think it's really important that we engage people early and in their youth. And part of doing that is demystifying what climate change is. I think the perception to the average person is that climate change is expensive, and that it requires rapid change in everyday life to participate. And that's just not the truth. And it's not the reality. And so I think art is really that medium and that vehicle we can use to bridge the gap between the scientific community and the creative community. Because artwork, and in all of its forms, whether it be poem, painting, music, is that universal language that speaks to us, no matter where we are, what language we speak. And so, using artwork to drive that social change has been really important. And we've done some incredible stuff with Miroslav and GloCha, including artwork on billboards and reaching people where they are. And so, excuse me, thank you. So part of that change is really reaching people where they are and having them understand that they can take actionable steps in their everyday life, whether it be using less water or turning off the lights or turning off the computer instead when they just go out shopping and what have it. And so reaching people where they are and getting people to understand that climate change isn't this amorphous thing and it's going to cost them more money, but in reality, if they take actionable steps every day that are very easy to take, it can drastically affect climate change. And understanding that every individual plays an important role in climate change is super important. And our work, we believe, is the way to reach people everywhere.
Wonderful, yeah. And thanks again, ArtSap, for the support for our Digital Art for Climate initiative. We've held it, the first round in the context of COP26 in Glasgow, and we had, I think it was around 350 submissions, and there was a lot of positive response. I've shown the photos from CNN. We've been on the Wall Street Journal Iconic Mint Gallery, and really top-level interest. And one thing is that there's the power of art, the digital art, but the other component is also non-fungible tokens technology. I really believe that this technology can help multi-stakeholder climate action coordination and incentivization when we turn each action and each created impact into a uniquely identifiable digital asset. Because then we can handle it, then we can reward it. People can build an individual legacy and show them to their grandchildren, this is my collection of climate action NFTs, of badges that certify that I have taken action and created impact. And so I believe that this is very powerful, and we will continue working on this. And Domenico has been with us on this journey when the COP was in Glasgow. Italy was the co-presidency, and we had great activities in Milan, helped by and enabled by Domenico, scientist, artist, youth leader, everything, our joker.
Thank you, Miro, thank you. So, apart of all these things, I'm also the founder of Hubs in Italia, that is a partner to the effort of GloCha for the Digital for Climate since 2021, when there was like the pre-COP in Italy. And actually, the mission of Hubsin is to create platform to share knowledge. We call it a sharing knowledge platform. We developed several platforms, the Climate Social Forum. Also, recently we launched these programs that we call humanitarian hubs, in which we share information for support crisis. We share information for support, for example, the flood in Emilia-Romagna, in Italy, the earthquake in Turkey, and also other humanitarian crises, and also this Climate Social Forum to connect the two crises of social and climate environment. And probably on sharing knowledge, I want to share two stories, if you allow. Please. One is about my activity, you can say, as a scientist. No? It was probably a story that was related to the last COP, the one in Dubai. I was attending a panel at the IPCC Pavilion. I was interested to citizen science, and this panel was about the role of data for indigenous communities, for citizen science. And a part of all the discussion on data gathering and so on and so forth, one speaker that was an indigenous knowledge scientist, and it's an indigenous scientist, has said one important thing. And I tell this story to render how visionary the initiative of Miro it is. She said, apart all the data, apart all the information, we have to really understand the beauty of what we are doing. Because when we are seeing nature, we need to connect with that. And this is the same beauty, same sense of aesthetic that, for example, Galileo, Leonardo, one of the main scientists, had when they were talking and studying nature. And also, this is what we have to rediscover when we are sharing this knowledge. The second story that I want to share has happened just yesterday, so very, very fresh. I had the chance to know in the hotel where I am, this guy that is like from Kurdistan, from the Iraqi part, the Kurdistan part of Iraq. And he was talking to me, we was just exchanging some views about COP, and he told me that he has created an NGO that was called One Tree in the Kurdish language. I say, why one tree? Because everything started by planting a tree. Okay? And he told me that this sense of change that he perceived when he planted a tree has led him to become a youth leader in his community, properly to involve, he said, 5,100 of people to plant trees in this region, and also involved in municipality and so on. And Abzi was properly born to tell these stories and to try to demonstrate this change. When we are talking about systemic change, this is an example of systemic change. And we are here together. I appreciate the definition of team that say the change maker family, because we are a family, no? And we are here to demonstrate that the change is possible, beside any contradiction, beside any difficulties, beside any geopolitical and we can say negotiation problem. We can make a change if we are staying together. If we stay together, if we gather together, if we join forces, we create, we can say, also we can say this sense of community that data, art, connection can create. Of course, this is important to finance. For example, this guy needs to be financed, and also this is the mission, for example, of Digital for Climate. And thank you, Miro, for bringing us together, and congratulations for the work of everyone.
Elena, please.
Okay, so I'm also a climate pact ambassador. Yes, so I think, what I'm hearing, I really like this idea of a family, and I think it's with what's happening at the moment, globally, I think it's even more important that we think globally across continents, because we're all impacted by, it will affect everyone, basically. I think that's why we need to think about humanity. Yes, so I'm Dr. Elena Lopez-Gan. I have also an SME, a catalyst in Spain, specialist in climate change adaptation, and we're at the moment supporting the European Commission in deploying the mission adaptation. So we're actually working directly with cities and regions across Europe. So we actually are working with the region of Valencia that just had floods. So it's very real for us at the moment. It's really put to the test everything. At one point, I was also with the IPCC, with working with two adaptation on the water chapter, ironically. So in a way, where people say, "Oh, we didn't know." Yes, we did know. We did know. But I do think that maybe as scientists, we have to talk to artists. We need to talk to youth. We need to create alliances so then we reach people. I agree. And that's why. So I always say I have a number of hats. I also work in a foreign affairs think tank in Spain. But my favorite hat is the climate pact ambassador because it really gives me faith that that ultimately it's such a complex problem that we need to mobilize everyone. And even yesterday, I put you in contact with a youth from Azerbaijan that we met. He has an idea of a mobile app for vacuum, right? So it's about connections, So I think, I really support what Miro is doing, and I just hope that with all these connections, we can come up with projects, implementation. I think we all know that the urgency is there. The impacts are here, and decisions have to be made. And these are difficult decisions, and they have many implications, financial, political. But I keep thinking, we're all fighting between us and the storm is coming. So we need to really focus on that storm and we know what we need to do. So in a way, count on all of us, and now with my Climate Pact ambassadors in Spain, there's 80 of us. One of the things that I really like about it is we span the political spectrum in Spain. So sometimes we've had the WhatsApp group we have is like hot because of political arguments between the ambassadors in Spain, which I think is good, and then in Europe it's 1,000. And I've met quite a few. In fact, because of one ambassador, one of my colleagues could come from Mexico because he helps with accreditation. So it just shows, the power of collaboration, that we help each other. And I think in this current mood, we have to remember that the power of collective action. It's not about me first. No, not at all. It's about us together. I think that's really, really important. And I am a mother, so I bring gender into the picture. I think we need to think of future generations. And I really think also, in Spain, the Spanish program will be supporting them with the program this year, and they signed an agreement with the Spanish Youth Council to bring them into the decision making on their end. So I think you need to be in the decision making space as well, because you come with brilliant ideas. So it's the day of youth, so I credit to you that we provide room for you to act. And I probably will have to go to one of the regions, to a meeting from one of our Spanish regions.
Okay. But let me just make the bridge. So first, thanks, Elena, and thanks for this positive message also of that there is hope with the climate pact, with new types of social ecological contracts. And I also believe that this EU climate pact is very powerful, and with the Global Changes Action Day and the pledges that people will make there, and the information system that will then really help us understanding who is doing what, it will be possible to make a collective impact, to secure our future, which is really threatened significantly now. But in securing our future, delighted to have Søren Giegler from the German Development Corporation, GIZ, with us, head of the unit for digital data and digital transformation, who is also an advocate for societal innovation, youth empowerment, and really new forms of support in the development cooperation process for data collection and data processing for the common good.
Thank you. First, I'm really sorry that I'm so late. So we, as GIZ, we work a lot also on civic action. So we have programs around the world leveraging the power of technology, AI, blockchain, and others, but in a very bottom-up approach. So I think what for us is very important that we put people at the center of technology, and that it's not technology that should drive the process. I think we really keep on forgetting that. And a second really key aspect of our programs is to empower youth and our partners. We work a lot with government, of course, but we also work directly with young people and civil society. And as you just said, it could be useful collective action. And in that sense, technology, well, first I talk about the positive aspects and then I come to the risks. So, but I think now on the potential, so I've been working a lot on tech for climate, but also very important, I think, tech for transparency and accountability. And in that sense, technology, digital innovations can be really a game changer, because they can really alter the relationship between government donors and civil society and local communities. So maybe give you a concrete example, because we actually really care not about declarations so much, we do things on the ground. So we work through our Fair Forward, also the name Fair Forward, that's the name of our AI program. And it truly believes in the empowerment of people and in open source and using open technologies. And we work closely together with Mozilla Foundation and others. We created, for instance, a so-called Lacuna Fund. So a fund which empowers people to generate their own knowledge. So here's the deal. AI is a lot about data, right? It's all about data. Now, who owns the data? To whom do we belong the data? So, ChatGPT says that anybody in the world you can build your own ChatGPT, right? In that sense. Yes, but what they do not tell you, the minute you use ChatGPT as a software, you agree that all of your knowledge and all of your data becomes proprietary ownership, legally binding to OpenAI. So it's great that it's an open tool, yes, but nobody thinks about it that you're basically contributing, all of your know-how, knowledge is being put into a global database. And by the way, there are a lot of stories coming out now. There are people who have fed the beast and so critical, then are losing their position or their jobs because now the AI has learned from you. Yeah, for instance, there's a real story of scientists who have contributed their whole knowledge and were super excited, yeah, and now are being told, no, yeah, now you're not needed anymore because we kind of profiled you. We have captured all of your knowledge in the new tool, and thank you very much, and goodbye. So no, but it's true stories, yeah. And so now for the partners we work, for instance, I just was in Rwanda or in Senegal or in South Africa, very strong South Africa. It's a lot about sovereignty. So South Africa does not want to use technology that is designed and operated exclusively in the global north. They want to own it, they want to use it, they want to shape it, and they want to control it. And I think that's a legitimate concern. And there are a lot of ethical issues attached with it, social problems, women harassed, girls, you heard all of the stories about AI and girls suddenly appearing in very obscure sites. So, and right now, so then I almost finished. So we work a lot on regulations. So we basically worked with the AI Act of the European Union, but now we're actually proud of this. Sorry, no, because we have done the first AI regulation for South Africa, the first AI strategy for Kenya, or AI strategy for Senegal. Because right now, and provocative, it's the Wild West at the moment. So any company can go to any country in the world and implement its technology and set standards without a lot of oversight or regulation. And the technical change is so fast that the regulators never can catch up. And there are real risks associated with it. Once you establish a certain AI or a certain blockchain or certain technology in a country, then the countries get locked in, and it's very hard to get out.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we've had now a great round. Any further thoughts about systemic innovation for all of society, empowerment, and also how our GloCha system can be relevant in this? So if you have any ideas or information that we should consider, you're welcome. David, would you like to say something about knowledge-based climate action empowerment in Uganda, Ministry of Science and Technology before? Now we have also a company, I think.
That's quite the ambush. So yeah, I'm from Uganda, the Ministry of Science and Technology, and typically what you've seen in most African countries, like you're saying, we've typically been a net consumer of technology, of strategy, and everything around climate. And what we believe is that climate action should be as grassroots level as possible, because then you start to develop solutions that will make sense. But of course, one is how do we identify the challenges as communities have? Because what's been happening in most of Africa is someone comes in from somewhere, Global North comes into the country, develops a project, implements it, gets, earns credits elsewhere, and you start to see less and less sustainability of many of these projects. So what we're doing as a country is trying to drive climate innovation at country level with local technology. I don't know if you know this, but Uganda today has the largest EV manufacturing facility. We're making electric buses in Uganda. We're working on a climate tech incubator as well that's coming up. And again, the idea is, can we drive local tech? Today we have hardware for mini grids management. We have a number of things, but many of these technologies are not actually registered. They're not making, without earning any money as credits, and they start to struggle with raising financing. So we believe that hopefully working with the team at Evercity and some other people, we're able to look at how we can start doing more carbon origination, how we can start, getting these projects able to actually generate some funding. So very general from the ambush, but very nice to be here, happy to have more conversations and of course learn as much as possible. Thank you.
Larry, you haven't said anything. You usually have also very good thoughts. Just to conclude. It's also EU Climate Pact ambassador.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes. And I've known Miro, meet at COP on a regular basis. I admire really the work you're doing. Just my thoughts on what I've heard today. First of all, I think it's great what UNIDO is doing. I remember 25 years ago, I was doing some research on business incubators, and UNIDO already at that time had set up business incubators and reports on best practices. So really pioneer, I think. I think we spoke about funding for entrepreneurs. I think this is always a problem. And the European Commission, Miro, you have a lot of experience in European funding. You know how complicated it is to get that funding for innovative projects. And it's unfortunate that the Commission had a program called the SME Instrument, which you might remember. It made it very easy to apply with just a business plan, just an idea. You could apply for 50,000 euros of some seed funding to develop your idea. And they stopped it. So maybe it's something that the UN should think about launching on a global basis. And then Tim, you and I are both part of this education, communication, and outreach stakeholders formal group. We meet on a regular basis. You mentioned the fact that youth don't have an NGO. Many youth don't have an NGO to start with. So I'm not a youth, but I don't have an NGO either. I've been a climate activist now for 6 years, part of a citizen movement in Brussels called Rise for Climate Belgium. And we operate without any kind of legal status. But what we have is that we are on a platform developed by a friend of mine, a Belgian entrepreneur. It's called Open Collective. And this platform allows informal groups that don't have the legal status of being a company or a nonprofit association to have all their accounting, bookkeeping online, totally transparent. Anyone can see what money is coming in and how it's being spent. They have access to a common bank account. So it's really a fantastic tool. And they've created a separate one using the same technology called All for Climate. And it's specifically for organizations, movements that are working on climate issues. So I think that's really something that is worth exploring and could be very helpful for what you're doing.
Thank you very much. Yeah. with this, we are coming to an end. It was really a pleasure having our family together. And please stay in touch with us. Next bigger meetings are in New York. 3rd of December at the UN headquarters, a workshop for the Global Challenges Action Day. And on the 4th of February, our GloCha one-day conference to present our partnerships, especially the one partnerships around one map. And we hope that by then we will make also progress with NVIDIA. One map and NVIDIA, they are envisioning a partnership, and we are an associated partner to this. And on the 4th of February, this and other initiatives shall be launched at the UN headquarters in New York. And then, as I said, UN Science, Technology and Innovation Forum and the Intersessional Conference in Bonn, where we will have a workshop on localization of climate action and how this kind of tools and solutions can help the NDC processes and the carbon markets. Yeah, and with this, thanks again, everyone. Kenza, Alex, Tim, Larry, Olga, Jackson, Søren, David, everyone, Domenico. Thanks. And Eleanor was here as well.